Okay, Mike Hill, thank you very much for that. We've got some breaking news right now. We've got a chase going on right now. Stu Mandel live above in Sky 9. Where are you, Stu?
Well, this is going to be on 223rd Street. It was on the freeways a little bit earlier on. LAPD, this is going to be an LAPD pursuit. You know, we just did that big story about how they're going to kind of back off and hands off and putting the brakes on the chases. This one, they're not putting the brakes on it. They are following this person. The original one, it's kind of eluding us right now. I can tell you, though, that this guy's been driving pretty normal, if there's anything such as driving normal while being chased by LAPD. That light you're seeing there flashing around, that's going to be the helicopter. LAPD helicopter overhead, LAPD in pursuit. You can see one of their vehicles right there. They're asking right now, you know, if they might be able to do something to bring this to an end, because the speeds are relatively slow for the most part. That was a red light. He did slow down. Every light that he's come to so far, luckily, has been green, so we don't know how reckless he's driving. When he was on the freeway, it was about 55, 60. It was just right below the freeway speeds. Don't know the original one. Does appear that there may be a driver and somebody else. Of course, there's always going to be a driver, but and somebody else inside the vehicle. Right now, though, we're just kind of listening in, watching along, seeing what's going on. We're continuing now, though. We're going to be eastbound on 223rd Street, so we're basically paralleling the 105 freeway, and our speeds about normal, I would say probably 35 miles an hour. And, you know, if we keep this up, we're going to start getting into the Compton area. Don't know if they're going to hand it off to the sheriffs.
Okay, Stu, is there a way that you could pan out to see how many units are following it, or is it just that one? And what type of vehicle is that they're pursuing? Okay, we got several units
Jeff,
there.
The car that they're chasing is going to be a Honda. It looked like a Honda Accord, probably a couple years old. Right now, though, the one that you can see that there's a multiple LAPD vehicles right there. I want to kind of stay tight on the car because they are asking if they can do something to bring this thing to an end, and gosh only knows we don't want to miss that. But if right now what I can tell you though is some of those other LAPD vehicles do not have those reds, those ambers, or excuse me, the light bars. That's what they call them. I know that we try to stay away from using the technical terms, but the reds and blues on top of the car. So that might have been one of the reasons why they were waiting for a little bit to actually get behind the car. They wanted an official LAPD vehicle like that one right there with all the lights and sirens on it to make that stop. Right now though, still running down 223rd Street, hasn't varied at all, making our way getting into the Compton area pretty soon. If we keep up these speeds, I would guess we've passed Wilmington, and we might be almost at Alameda right now. Speeds normal, traffic extremely light. LAPD, they're chasing this guy, and right now we're still working on the reason why.
Okay, you're taking a live look here at police pursuit. This is in Carson on 223rd Street eastbound. This is near the 105 in the city of Carson. We understand LAPD helicopter overhead. Stu Mandel's in Sky 9 at this hour as they are pursuing this Honda Accord. We obviously know there's a driver behind the wheel. We don't know if there's any passengers involved. And as we took a wider shot of this location from our chopper, I think we saw 4 cruisers behind this suspect vehicle. So let's go back up to Stu Mandel and Sky 9 with any new information that you have. I know that they're looking for the want on this, Stu, and obviously at this point in time they're just going to try to figure out a way to try to get him stopped.
Well, you know, that is always the big thing about any one of these pursuits is why is this person chasing, why they want to stop him. And, you know, right now we're hearing, it's unconfirmed, but, you know, this is how it happens, especially in something as fluid as this, so it's moving constantly. We're hearing that this possibly a stolen vehicle. So he's definitely not driving it like he stole it. That's the first red light we've seen him just completely ignore and run through. But you can see how LAPD taking that caution, even though with their lights and sirens going, they did come to almost to a complete stop there at that light before they went through. So the stolen vehicle, that's probably what the original one is. We're coming up on geez, we're making some really good time out here tonight. We're coming up on the 710 already as we're working our way out actually into the Bixby Knolls area as we're continuing on. And the 223, this was 223, and now it's probably going to become Wardlow if anybody knows the area this well. But basically working our way into the Long Beach area if it just continues on. Stolen vehicle, Honda. And we're going to try and see, maybe we can see in through that front windshield and see if we can see if there's 2 or 3 or even more people inside. It does seem to be just 2, maybe 2 people in the front. We're going to double check that here in a minute. LAPD, though, they want to stop this car. and continue on right now. They're chasing them, and they got the helicopter in the air and a number of vehicles behind them, and lights and sirens. No traffic this evening for a Friday night. That's almost amazing in itself.
Yeah, if you're just joining us here on KCAL 9 News at 10, this is breaking news alongside Jeff Vaughn. Good evening, everyone. I'm Susie Suh. We have been following a police pursuit for the past couple of 10 minutes or so. This all started in the city of Carson. And Stu, can you just run us down for our viewers here at 10 o'clock what happened and how this all started?
Well, it all started, basically, they got behind that vehicle, wanted to pull it over, was on the freeways. That's where it actually started, so that's kind of unusual in itself. Lights and sirens came on. That car refused to stop. I'm kind of working on it right now. I'm trying to get an exact location where we are. He did make a southbound turn off of Wardlow. Now we're definitely heading into the Long Beach area. I'm sure LAPD is going to start talking to the Long Beach folks down there and letting them know that we're coming their direction. I've got to be honest with you, kind of just using the map this evening. Can't really hear these guys, and I would guess that we're probably on Santa Fe, even though this is a smaller road. We're working our way, very residential, but definitely getting into the Long Beach area here, and the speeds are just about the same, probably going about 30-40 miles an hour this evening, and LAPD still behind this vehicle. They got the helicopter above, and then some traffic coming up here as we're coming up to a major intersection. Let's see what this guy's going to do.
Yeah, this is a Honda Accord, and interestingly enough, CHP will tell you most of the vehicles that they pursue in situations like these this is the most popular car, is the Honda Accord, because it's such a popular vehicle out there in the streets in California now. It looks like we might try pretty close to a pit. We thought it's going to happen right there. It looks like they decided against that at this point in time. But Stu, at one point in time, you were on the 405. So tell us about why you thought this individual decided to bail off the 405 and go to the 223rd Street.
Well, right now I can tell you that we're going to be eastbound on Willow. Eastbound on Willow, definitely established into the North Long Beach area. LAPD right behind him, and you saw that one LAPD vehicle really started getting up close to him, and apparently going to try it again right now. Just almost made contact, basically knocking on that door, and it does seem like somebody is inside there, a passenger's inside there. Now this is going to get really interesting, turning into a parking complex right there, getting a little squirrely. That, you know, officers from LAPD, they're always going to be worried about safety. Even if it's safety of the suspect, they're not going to want to injure anybody in any of these chases at all. Right now, though, this parking lot, not the place where they want to have this type of confrontation. So, you can see he's working his way out of that parking lot, but definitely when that officer got a little aggressive there, came up, basically knocked the back of that car, that suspect changed his mind, his driving habits changed. Now he's starting to get a little bit more aggressive, and we've got, you know what, it probably is just the driver. It's just been the way the light's been playing on it. Just the driver this evening. The speed's increasing, driving getting a little bit more erratic in the North Long Beach area.
And just to touch more on what Stu was talking about the safety, and you on the right side of your screen, you see the pit maneuver attempts that the LAPD was attempting to do on this car. You know, we know that for officers, it's a very intricate operation. They have to have just the right amount of, the timing is very important, the circumstances, of course, and of course what Stu was talking about, the safety of the public. Are there other cars around? Are there passengers? I mean, are there people walking around? And obviously, these are residential areas that this driver has been driving through, and certainly they want to make sure that no one is around if they want to attempt one of these pit maneuvers. And it looks like they're kind of backing off a little bit, Stu.
And that's a lot of the times the situation, isn't it, Stu, when it gets to the point where the driver is getting dangerous and speeding up, which appears to be here. Does it appear that they're backing off?
Well, if they're backing off right now, I don't have it. I'm just being really honest right now. I don't have any inside information. We're southbound on Atlantic. I can tell you that. You can see some people trying to make their turns right there. This guy just blowing right through that intersection. LAPD still right behind him. So we are definitely established in the Long Beach area. It went off of Atlantic. And now we're on Pacific Coast Highway. We're making an eastbound turn on the Pacific Coast.
Okay, it looks like we might have some technical problems with Stu Mundell and Sky 9 as we continue to follow this pursuit. It's a live pursuit here. Hopefully we can get him back up, so let's just fill some time and give you some information. We have a stolen Honda Accord. They intercepted that vehicle southbound 405. That was in Carson. And then at one point in time, they went on the 223rd Street in Willow, and now they're on PCH, and this is in Long Beach. Looks like we might have Stu Mundell back. So, Stu, this is southbound, you say, PCH?
No, we were on PCH. He just went southbound once again. I'm just kind of looking at, I think we're back on Atlantic. It might be Long Beach Boulevard. And making another sharp turn there. Every time we give a shot out of location, this guy's going to make a turn, it seems like. Here we go back into like a little bit more of a residential neighborhood. If you know the Long Beach area, you can see how they have this parking out here around the apartments. It gets very, very tight. Also, another thing that the LAPD is going to be looking at, very dangerous situation for safety sake. Making another turn here as we're going to be working our way back onto another major road out of that residential neighborhood. But LAPD really working it this evening. They're staying right behind this car, keeping that safer distance. We did see that attempt at the pit. When that did not work, that driver got a lot more aggressive. Take a look, though. That's one of the things that LAPD's been talking about with their pursuit policies is even though that light was red, they are in pursuit. They come to a stop, even with their lights and sirens. They're going to slow down. They're going to make sure that no people on the roadway are going to run that light, and there's safety. That's safety-minded. That's what these guys are trained to. That's one of their big things. It says so right on their door: serve and protect. So they want to protect the public from any type of harm, especially from them. So right now, though, this car's continuing on. We're heading eastbound, definitely in the Long Beach area. Haven't seen any Long Beach PD getting involved, which is interesting, but the streets he's picking, we're getting closer and closer to the downtown area, and you can see it's getting a little bit tighter. This guy's getting a little bit more desperate, using that center lane. LAPD still right behind him. Stolen vehicle, that's what we understand it is.
So oftentimes, as we understand, what will happen is if it's a different jurisdiction or a different city that's pursuing, like in this case, it's the Los Angeles Police Department in pursuit and all of overhead as well. In the city of Long Beach, we find that sometimes they might change the jurisdictions, and perhaps the Long Beach Police Department might take over at some point this pursuit because of the fact that they know this area better, they know the streets better, obviously. But that we haven't seen that happen just yet, have we,
No,
Jeff?
because it's an active pursuit, so I'll bet you they'll defer to LAPD, who is the lead agency at this point in time. But for sure, if they need some help from Long Beach police officers have been alerted as this is happening now in Long Beach, and they can jump in if they need to.
Yeah, that's the first time we actually seen them stop at an intersection, not blow right through that red light.
I'm getting the feeling that this person may not know where they are at this point in time. So what we have here is a stolen vehicle. It's a Honda Accord. LAPD started the pursuit southbound 405. We understand there may be a passenger in the car. We know there's definitely a driver. We're trying to take a closer look. At one point in time, it was on PCH. Susie was on Willow. It was on 223rd. LAPD right now in pursuit. Yeah,
that's right. And it was really, I mean, the driving was really erratic earlier, especially on the freeway at really high speeds. As we mentioned, driving erratically through intersections, blowing through red lights. And the LAPD has attempted 2 pit maneuvers as far as I've counted, Jeff. So far, and you can see them getting closer as well right now.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me about something like this is, you know, this is not a high-speed pursuit, but at night there's just so much more danger that could occur as a result of pedestrians or cyclists, or just because it's dark. You know, the driver just hopefully would not drive beyond their headlights because it's dark. They get scared, and then they're going a little too fast, and then things happen. And this is now getting into a wooded neighborhood. It's definitely, the streets are getting a little. We went from 4 lanes down to about 2-lane roads now.
And especially, just to touch more on what you're talking about, Jeff, you know, especially on a Friday night, it's the summer, it's hot out there. You know, people are going to be out of their homes, maybe hanging out. You know, it's the weekend, and you don't want to see a pursuit going through your neighborhood because of the high speeds of the driver. Obviously, police will definitely take in mind the safety of the public, but the driver doesn't always do that.
And the driver has shown some signs of desperation. They did shed off a pit maneuver twice, and then they went through a parking lot at one point in time, getting off some of the surface streets. So that shows me that they're a little desperate, as most drivers are in this situation. It, of course, would be best if they just pulled over and gave up to police, then everything would be, you know, of course, much better, and there would be no danger at that point in time. You see the cycling share roads on this road, so obviously there might be cyclists there and pedestrians as well, as he just kind of goes again through a red light. You see pedestrians off to the right that ran because they see the lights and sirens, of course, from the LAPD units.
Just going right through the middle lane there, no concern, you know, for traffic or for the public safety, obviously. This is, again, a pursuit that we picked up on the freeway on the 405 in Carson. Stu, where are we now in Long Beach?
Well, we just made a northbound turn off at Juniper, off of one of the numbered streets, lower numbered street. Might have even been 3rd. There was a very tight spot in there. There was a couple. It's very active out here. It is Long Beach. That's down by the downtown areas. There's a lot of activities that are going on out there. We've seen people walking dogs. We saw a lot of pedestrians out there on the roadway. Pretty sure, I can almost guarantee you, it is just the driver inside that vehicle. Now we're going back up. We're going northbound again. So the numbers are going to start getting bigger. We just passed 7th Street. We're on Juniper. And this vehicle really not getting those crazy high speeds, but definitely no regard for any type of slowing down or stopping. Makes you wonder, maybe the car's brakes aren't working. Gosh only knows. But the driver just keeping enough speed there. Whoops, oh, it looks like something's going on right there. Getting a little tight underneath the tree. Our pilot is going to move the helicopter around. Somebody's got the door open. Basically, I don't know if this is unintentional or what's going on, but this guy's just getting out of his car like, hey, I don't know what's going on here, buddy. I'm just going to leave that door open. I'm surprised that that driver doesn't just close that door by just driving through there. LAPD, they've got their guns out. Really got to wonder what that was all about. That vehicle now stopped, hands are out. You know, if it was just as simple as a door to block the car, that is some unusual stuff for sure. Right now, though, this guy just getting out like he knows what he's got to do. He's got his hands up, stepping away from the vehicle, and you can see LAPD. This is Harbor Division of LAPD down there. They've got their weapons out. They're not playing around. This guy doing his little dance right now, basically following what the LAPD officers are telling him to do. It's so bizarre, though, that he just kind of came to a stop when that other car just opened up the door. Don't know what that was all about. You can see the car, the other car, the white one there in the shot, Ford. In the middle of the roadway.
I just wonder
but there would have been enough room just to get by if he would have just kind of kept moving. But that guy on the ground right now, LAPD, their weapons out. Cuffs aren't on him, but this thing definitely coming to an end out here in the Long Beach area.
You don't see this every day. That driver, that Ford, might have just panicked behind the wheel, saw a car coming at him,
lights coming
and then
towards
all
him.
these lights and sirens and several units. He might have just put on the brake and put it in park and said, I'm not having any of this, and basically got out, and you saw him walk away with his hands up. It doesn't appear that it was like some sort of vigilante or good Samaritan that was trying to help out, but I mean, who knows?
Who knows, Jeff? And the timing was impeccable, because just as that driver got onto that street and was going at a pretty good speed, and then the police was right behind him, obviously, and then right then and there is when whoever that was, the driver of that white vehicle, opened the door, and then the car was pretty much trapped. And it is surprising that he just, the driver didn't actually just plow through that door.
Yeah, we'll have to find
and get
out.
away from police.
Yeah, we'll have to find out in an interview from him if that was done intentionally, or he just kind of maybe panicked. And you could understand that if you're just driving in a neighborhood, you turn a corner, and then all of a sudden you see somebody barreling at you and police coming at you as well, that you might just do what that individual did and put it in a park and get out and
get out of the way.
Get out of the way and get out of any danger. I don't blame the guy if that's what he did.
Yeah. This is breaking news here on KCAL 9 News at 10. On the left side of your screen, you see police officers going through, I believe, what is the trunk now of the vehicle that was being pursued, Stu.
Let's go back around. Yeah, that's right. They just pop the trunk. They always do, just to make sure that there is nothing suspicious or something that they don't want to have in that trunk in there. They always have to clear that vehicle, make sure that everybody is out. They just did that right there. The guy that was in that car, it's unusual. He just kind of walked off. We're going to look around, see if we can get a glimpse of where he went. But it does look like just Joe Citizen out there this evening. What that was all about, I don't know, and it'll be very interesting to find out in the end. If you look at the shot, though, it's pretty much, if he wanted to, he could have just bumped that door closed and could have kept on going. But we weren't down there. We don't really know. We're just up here watching and checking out what's going on. But that person in custody, this pursuit, now over, no injuries.
Okay, Stu Medell reporting live for us tonight in Sky 9.